Welcome to another episode of Over Ask. Today, I say it every episode, but every episode it just gets better and better. Until now, I think we've reached our peak here
This is
with
the peak. Yeah.
with Tessabella on the show. Tessa, thank you so much for being on.
Of course. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
Is that your real name or is it a stage name?
Oh, that is my real name.
Wow.
Let me give you some background on that actually. My full name, Tessabella. My middle name is Bay. Everybody thinks that like B-A-E, which is not true. It's B-A-Y. And then my last name now is a shortened version of a longer Russian name, which is Zhetenkov. So before my full name was like 30 something letters.
And now it's
Your first name is Tessabella.
Yes.
Oh, that's your first
I always
name.
thought that was your last name.
I thought Bella was your last
cool.
name.
No, that's my full first name.
It's incredible.
So you're Russian. Are you Jewish by chance?
No, Russian and Italian.
Oh, I'm Italian. Okay. Finally, someone I can
There you
talk
go,
to.
Matt.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tessabella, that's like, you're like in SEAL status. Who else? McLovin. Who else has one? Sting.
Yeah, we'll just do the one first
Madonna.
name.
That's pretty sick. I would put that right on my license. But anyways, enough of your cool name. This might actually take out Daniel Daggers, her coolest name.
Yes.
Tessabella. For those who may not know you, can you give us your elevator pitch? Who is Tessabella?
Yeah, well, I started in real estate investing when I was 18. I just moved to Arizona from like a small farm in Oregon and wanted to do it all. Started investing in real estate with no money to my own name and built a real estate team, partnered with the Phoenix Suns. And today I focus on like branding and marketing for real estate professionals, both investors, agents, that kind of thing.
Were you a real estate agent as well, or just an investor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you still an agent?
I'm still licensed. Yeah. I don't really do anything actively as an agent, just because I'm staying very busy with everything else, but still licensed.
Okay. So you're like the all around better version of Eric.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I still hold my license too. She just does everything slightly better than I do.
That's all Eric ever really did was hold his license.
Just switch brokerages like 4 times.
Yeah.
But it's half the
That's the
population,
move.
so it's okay.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
true.
So what was your partnership with the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah, I was the official real estate partner of the Phoenix Suns. Unfortunately, it was like when they sucked. So part of the perk was I got a bunch of free tickets. I had like box seats. I had all this kind of stuff that I could use also as marketing material. And it got to the point where like they were so bad that people didn't even want the free tickets. They were like, yeah, no, I'm good. So
yeah, they were like last place for 6 years.
Yeah. So it was during that time, but it was still really cool. We had billboards, commercials, did a bunch of stuff with the Suns gorilla. I'd always have the gorilla and the cheerleaders like come to my open houses and stuff. Nice. So it was pretty cool.
I grew up going to Suns games because I'm from Tucson and we had season tickets and the gorilla was my favorite part. Well, not really, but I liked the gorilla. He would do the dunk shows between the third and fourth quarter.
You know, there's a fun fact about the gorilla. There's actually the guy who very first ever started being the gorilla is still the gorilla to this day. He's like 80 something.
Oh my God.
But
he's not the one doing the flips.
No, they had to have a stunt double. So there is a stand-in gorilla who does the flips and stuff. And you can tell the difference because the original has like blue eyes and the stunt double has brown eyes. And that's the only way you can tell who you're interacting with.
Wow.
Jeez. Learn something new every day. Hear that, Phoenix Sun fans? The gorilla, the guy doing the flips, the real gorilla is a con artist at this point. Can't even do his own stunts anymore. So what made you transition from just like a real estate agent to more on like the marketing and branding side of things?
Yeah, to be honest, that was the part that I could get passionate about. Like, I'm not going to lie and say I was ever passionate about unlocking doors and like having people yell at me for listings. But I did always love the marketing side and like putting an identity to properties. So it started kind of when I got into investing, each property that I did, I would give its own name. I would literally name them. I would like have a whole brand built around it. And that got people excited to follow the process. And I kind of brought that whole experience into whether I was working with buyers, renters, sellers, whatever. I just loved to build identity around each transaction and each experience. And that built a really large local following. Like I had people that would recognize that heavily just here in Arizona. And so then I started getting asked to like speak about it, talk to brokerages, teach other people. And that was always the part that was most exciting, is like helping other people create that same kind of thing and get excited about it. Cause I mean, it's kind of the running joke that real estate for some people is like their fallback plan or whatever. And so when I talk to agents, I'm always like, oh, you have to find your passion, find your why. But I think a lot of people can relate to the fact that it's not easy to get super excited about like driving around to 70 properties on a Sunday when you'd rather be like watching football. But if you can find the piece of it that gets you excited, that you're passionate about, it makes the whole experience a lot more fun. So that was kind of my favorite part forever, was the marketing and branding. So I went all in with it once I started to get some traction and helping other people and doing it for myself.
Very well put. She just said that so much more eloquently than the way I say that joke about, watching football on Sundays and having to sit open houses. But you just explained it 10,000 times better than I have. So did agents start coming to you once they noticed this marketing? And did you realize like, oh, there's a business here also where I could help agents? Or how did that start? Because you help agents with social media. You have your own marketing company, correct?
Yeah, I do that now. That definitely wasn't the initial thing, but it was, it would get noticed all the time. We'd have agents from other offices, other brokerages, and it was always two sides. I either had the opposing ones that like hated me because I was doing it, which were usually the old fogies that were like pissed that I was stealing their attention, or it was people who wanted to learn how to do it too. So I'd get agents all the time, which initially was, I built a team. So at one point I had like 18 agents. And it started because I loved coaching them and teaching them how to do it, kind of giving them the tools, but then the free reign to build their own brand and essentially mini business within real estate within my team. And then that naturally kind of evolved more towards, helping other agents and doing it for them. Cause there's a million things in real estate. You wear like every hat, you're doing all the things. And so social media and like marketing is usually the one that falls short, either because they don't know how to, or it's really time consuming. So I tried to find a way to solve that problem without just giving a cookie cutter approach to it. I think it's important that marketing is approached uniquely with each channel and with each person. There's some social media agencies, marketing agencies that give you like a very packaged approach to, here's your, this or whatever. We try to make sure it's very unique to each person and customized in that sense, because I've been there and I've done it all myself for my real estate company.
Yeah, it's definitely not a one size fits all type of thing. I always say that too. It has to be unique to you, and your personality kind of has to shine through it. That's the only way I think you're really going to connect with people. How long have you been helping agents with their marketing?
It's been almost 5 years now that I've been doing that.
So in the past 5 years, a lot of bullshit courses and gurus and all that has come up. Is that annoying to you? Is it harder to get business? Are they taking business? You know what I mean? How has that transition been for you with all these fake gurus?
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely a lot. I would say in the beginning, it bothered me because I was like, oh, there's so many people trying to do this. When I got more into the world of it, you start to realize that there's really two different sectors. There's like the marketing person who maybe like knows a lot about marketing and tries to prey on real estate agents because they seem like an easy target. Or you've got the real estate agent who like had one big year and now they're trying to teach other people how to do the same thing. And I found that was really the main two categories. I think I built confidence around the fact that like I had a lot of success in real estate myself, and it was because of a result of the exact things that I teach and help people do now. So I feel like it's bringing in someone who's been in the trenches. And once I started thinking about it that way, and results speaking for themselves, it kind of built this confidence where it was kind of funny to see all that other stuff. It comes up, but they also come and go as quickly as they enter the market.
Yeah.
It's just get a feel for it.
Go for it. We interrupt each other once an episode.
This was it. You could get a feel for it too. Like as someone who knows a little bit about social media, like every time I've, spoken to you about social, you know exactly what you're talking about. You've helped me with my ebooks. You've crushed all your marketing that you do that we could see. But like, if we're listening to a Clubhouse or a podcast or something, and we've had a couple of people on where this has actually happened too, where it's very clear that they just have no idea what they're talking about. And then you almost feel bad for the agents that are using their program or that are, listening to their advice. So I think it is really cool that you have walked the walk and you were successful in real estate, specifically real estate marketing. So that's really cool. What's the number one kind of problem that you've seen when you've audited realtors like Instagrams? What do you see as like the most consistent mistake that they're making?
Best of the what the fucker? What do you got? Got a knife down there?
Yeah.
Okay. The best of the best do things differently, and they start by partnering with Boomtown, the top user-rated real estate CRM. It's all of the tech, tools, and support you need to generate and convert conversation-ready leads in flexible packages designed to grow with you. Run your business smarter with the #1 real estate CRM that agents actually use.
They actually use this. To check out Boomtown and see how you can score $750 in free digital advertising, visit boomtownroi.com/overask. That's boomtownroi.com/overask. $750 in free digital advertising.
Yeah, you know what? That's boomtownroi.com.
You could put that money in crypto, in Cardano, and that could be worth $1,500 tomorrow, or it could be worth $200, or you could put it in your actual real estate business.
There you go. Boom.
Okay.
Okay.
Audited realtors like Instagrams. What do you see as like the most consistent mistake that they're making?
Oh, that's a hard, because there's a lot of the same kind of things that you see, but probably the biggest thing is consistency. They'll go on these sprees where you can tell they just left Inman and they're super excited and they're posting for a week and they're doing a good job, but then they lose that, steam. And then all of a sudden their last post was like March of 2018. And so then they just fall off the wagon, and you can see it start up a couple different times. But one of my favorite things to go off of is I always say, start from where you are with what you have. I think a lot of times we leave a conference or we listen to a podcast or we get excited about something, or you buy a course and you overcommit to saying, okay, I haven't posted on social media ever. Now I'm going to post every day on all channels. And then they burn out and they stop doing it. I think that's probably the biggest issue, is lack of consistency. You don't have to post 1 million times a day. If you're doing it consistently 3 times a week as an agent, that's still going to help you get a lot closer to your goal than to burn out and do this kind of like start stop thing.
Yeah. So
definitely. Your turn now.
This is 2 times now. Lack of consistency. And I think it would also, back to what you're saying, be lack of passion and excitement. So what you're saying you do is really, are you helping agents find that excitement and find that passion so they actually want to post? Because I used to be like that too before I started doing like comedic skits. I didn't want to post because I didn't want to post a picture of a sold house, So once I found my niche and what I wanted to do, I was excited to post and I was passionate about it. And that's what makes the consistency. So is that what you're trying to help each individual agent find?
Yeah, I think if there's like one major takeaway that I always try to give an agent when I'm talking with them, it's like to empower them that there are no rules for what you can or cannot post. They see like, oh, sold, open house, just listed. My big thing on social is hitting on emotion, either entertainment or emotion. So you want to elicit some kind of response from people. When I'm scrolling through social and I see just sold, like that does absolutely nothing for me. I don't even know who that person is because I don't take the time to look at it. But if an agent can feel empowered to share whatever they want, whether that's about their personal life, bringing in their, own comedic twist to it, doing videos, whatever, that's what makes it more exciting. And that's how you actually get people to invest in you and your brand, because they relate to it. But I think either they're not feeling like they're allowed to do that, or they get nervous that they're going to offend people or all this kind of stuff. But in reality, like, polarity is power. So if we can do things, even if somebody doesn't like it, you're going to have 10 times the amount of people that love you more for it. Like, you are going to have those people that are like, screw you, you did this. But you're going to have so many people that were like, oh, that was so cool, that was awesome. And now they're more invested in you long term.
Yeah,
it's very, very true. Like, the second you see a just sold post on Instagram, you scroll by it immediately, no matter whose it is, unless it's like a Mauricio or Jordan Cohen. It's like a $20 million property and you want to take a look at it. But I think your ability to like tell a story around a property or get them involved in some way, whether it's a funny reel or video or something about yourself, and then you talk about the property, that's so much more engaging than just posting a just listed or just sold.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I see that all the time when I don't even know half the agents, because what would you say to this? Because a lot of agents I know say, well, I need my just solds and I need that on my page. So when people come to my Instagram or my Facebook, they know that I'm selling. So how do you get around that hurdle?
Yeah, there's 3 ways that I like to do it that I think is more engaging. One is to do it as like a monthly roundup. So once a month, or if you, it depends on obviously the frequency of your closings, but like a monthly roundup where it's on your feed and now you have a carousel post of like 10 closings you had. That looks a lot more impressive anyways, because now I can scroll through and be like, oh dang, they're doing some work over here, rather than just one like $200,000 house. You're like, good for you. That's great. So that's one way. The second way is I love building out like a case study around it. So more story to the actual people behind the purchase. So again, not just a sold and not just a testimonial, but instead like a, hey, this was their situation. Here were some of the hurdles that we faced. Here's how I was so awesome as an agent and fought all these fires and did all this great stuff. And then we closed on the property as a result, because then they can get more invested in the story. They can think that like, oh, it relates to them. Oh, I feel like that too. And it's just more engaging. And then the third would be to like put it more so on stories and have it as like a highlight on your Instagram, highlight where people can click through the just solds, because it's not as impactful, but then I can still go in there and see, oh, wow, in the last, 21 weeks, there's been like 70 closings. That's really impressive. So I can tap through them without it taking up my Instagram.
Yeah, that's what I do. I do the highlights.
Yeah.
Because if I post every time I sell something, I'll lose engagement on those posts. Then it loses engagement for my videos that I actually want engagement on. Quick thing about the testimonial. Have you ever, I don't know if you've done this. Do you have testimonials?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. It's yours.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll give you royalties on that one. That's
thank you. Just wanted to just came to me. I mean, sometimes it just comes to
genius.
Me. Thank you. I'm good for a couple one-liners every couple episodes. So you have a lot of stuff on. I have your Instagram up right here. You have 70,000 followers. When you started this, was it more niche to your community and your area, and now has that branched out to all over?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, if you were to look back at my Instagram when I first started in real estate and stuff, it's like completely worlds different. I used to do a lot more localized stuff, used to do a lot more like specific to real estate stuff, the properties I was doing, all that jazz. And then as I started to kind of evolve more on the coaching and speaking and working with agents, it's changed. And that's, I guess, another piece of, like I was talking about, there really are no rules with what you can or cannot do on social. I always think of it as my own personal reality TV show, which I hopefully have one day. But for now, this is my own little Bravo. And I get to design the episodes, the seasons, the shows, and show whatever the heck I want. And if you do it in the right way, then people feel like they know everything about you and everything about your life, when in reality, it's like a small section of what's really going on. But you have complete control over that. So I think it's cool to be able to pivot, change, like show different things. And then, of course, paying attention to what people respond to. Some of my posts that used to do super well content-wise, nowadays, like they don't get that much. So you kind of have to evolve with the times and with your audience and what they want.
And that's so true about your own reality show, because following you, you always know what you're doing. Like, you know that you're working out in the morning, you know that I think you started the company, or you're part of the company on Snap, right? Which is that, Snap, which is, what is it? A fitness supplement that like energizes you, or what exactly is that?
Yeah, it's like a nutrition company. So they're delivered in these little like snap pack things for traveling or just to make it easy. And that is a cool story too. I got connected through clients, and then they asked me to consult on the brand at first. And then now I'm able to work within it. And then Cody Sperber, Clever Investor, he became a partner in that as well. And so now we've got all these, ties together, but it is like a totally different sector that I'm able to bring in like a different viewpoint to, which is cool.
And you show all your passions, you're golfing, you're, getting cocktails with your friends and everything. So it really is like a reality show, and it is far more entertaining than just seeing like the real estate aspect. Like, you're not even necessarily promoting your business that much. I mean, besides like the OSNAP, but it's really just like entertaining, because you're getting to know who Tessa is. And then just based off of that, you're going to want to work with you.
And like, as a result of that, I get such higher conversion when I do promote something because majority of the time I'm not. So people naturally start to understand that, like, when I'm saying, oh, hey, check this out, swipe up on this, register for this, there's probably some true value that's really packed inside of that, because I'm not just like promoting anything and everything and only talking about business all the time. And it also, like that age old saying of people, buy from people that they like, know, and trust. I'm building up that like and that know by doing all of this stuff. So then once it comes to me asking for business, they trust me more and actually, engage and convert from it. So I think that piece is huge, and it makes it more fun. I mean, that's really what I'm doing most of the day. I'm not going to lie and say I'm like, working all the time, because I'm doing things that are fun.
Right.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly how I look at my page too, as like a reality show. One thing, do you have to golf if you're from Arizona or live in Arizona? Is that like
pretty much.
Do you just get a set of golf clubs? Everyone I know.
When you cross the border, they hand you a golf ball and a club. No, I actually grew up in Oregon playing golf in Oregon. So believe it or not, I am not one of the cliche just started because I moved to Oregon, or to Arizona.
Yeah. Okay.
It's year round in Arizona though, Matt. So
yeah, I know.
Like
well,
120 degrees in the summer, but you could play 12 months of the year.
Tessa, I'm out in Toronto, so 8 months is snow. So we don't get to do much. Yep. Can't even buy like a nice sports car, What would your show be called? Have you thought about this? You must have thought about this. I feel like you're going to get a show too. And if you ever want to start a show, Eric and I are down.
Let's do it. I really want to. I don't have like name off the top of my head because I've had different concepts, but I really think that there is here's two of them. Maybe I shouldn't even say this because someone's going to steal it, but
maybe don't say it, but you can say I don't know, whatever. Our audience is pretty nice.
Okay. I'll say one concept. I think there is like a big lack of showing the, other pieces of real estate because it's not as sexy. Obviously they want to show the nice house, the like flipped house, whatever. But I think showing the actual stuff that goes into like running it as a business, transforming the business and each transaction. I think of a show like Restaurant Impossible or Bar Rescue or anything like that. It could be this, but for real estate, where we like bar rescue your real estate business or your terrible marketing or something like that.
That's exactly
what we've
idea.
Talked about before, isn't it?
We're on the same wavelength here.
Yeah,
and I've also
we can produce it.
I'll do anything. I'll be the gorilla from the I'll suit up as the gorilla from the Suns. I've always thought that a lot of the HGTV stuff is too cookie cutter bullshit. That's my saying. I always thought you need like a Gordon Ramsay of real estate. There's no one who's just calling people fucking idiot sandwiches. That's what I need.
And that's the reality of it too. Like there's so much of that energy in this industry. That's probably why so many people go get their license, because they think, oh, I'm going to get my license and it's going to be cute. I wear cute outfits and walk through pretty houses and make a bunch of money. And that's not what real estate is for anybody. It's all people calling you idiot sandwiches, and a lot of people like pissing each other off.
That would be great. Like some sort of judge show, I think would be cool. Like an American Idol of real estate.
We talked about this. Yeah.
Three judges that are judging like a piece of marketing or something like that. Like, one really harsh one and, two kind of nice ones that see your real or see your stupid, like real estate rap video or something like that. And either say, this is going to hurt your career. This is going to help your career. Here's the hashtags you should use. Here's what, video angle you should use, something like that. I think that'd be that's
so good. And then we were even saying like, film someone, host an open house, and then we judge how they did, how much conversions they got, stuff like that, and have a whole, it could be us three, Tom Ferry and Sirhan.
Yeah, clever investor too. Also,
sure.
we could do Impractical Jokers type of shit too, where we're like whispering in the ear of what to say in open houses. That would be incredible.
Or Impractical Jokers in the way that we send in people to the open house to like mess with the agent and see how they handle it.
See how they handle it, yeah.
We send in the seller's cousin or seller's sister or something to ask questions about the seller, see if they fold or not.
We're giving away too many good ideas right
exactly.
now. We'll have a meeting off air. I know a lot of our listeners are big time producers. Yeah.
So Tessa, I want to touch on something that I think, because I've been following you and we've been friends for a couple of years now, maybe 3 years. I've seen you talk about how at the beginning of your speaking gig career, you didn't really like it that much. You got super nervous. And I definitely felt like that too at the beginning. And now you're so polished. Like I've said to you, like on the phone, I've heard you in clubhouses handle the most ridiculous questions that are nonsensical and have nothing to do with the actual topic. I've seen your speaking gigs and you absolutely crush. So did you just have to do a bunch of them, or kind of what changed with your mindset with those?
Yeah, well, thank you, first of all. But it is definitely a practice thing. Like even to this day, honestly, I still, right before I go up on stage or something, it's very nerve-wracking. Like there's a lot that goes through your head. But I think the biggest piece is the more that you really know your stuff and the more that you're surrounded by, like I said earlier, I practice what I preach. Everything I talk about is not just something that I like am regurgitating from someone else or something that I think I should say because it'll sound good. It's all things that I have done and have either failed miserably at or have done and it was successful, and I'm able to speak from a point of like experience. And so that builds confidence around if somebody asks me a question, I'm like, I've experienced just about every transaction in the book. I've worked with crazy clients. I've done all these kind of things. And so much of it I documented on social media. Like genuinely, when I was flipping houses, this was my first ever property flip. I documented every piece of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Unfortunately, it was before archives were a thing. I wish I still had like a bunch of stuff that I could show. I have a couple clips of it, but I had finally got it under contract. I had run into just about every single issue you could possibly imagine. And then I get a call one morning from the appraiser. He goes, hey, or the inspector. He goes, hey, where's the key? Like, and I was like, oh, it's in the lockbox on the hose bib. And he goes, yeah, I don't see a lockbox here. I see one like smashed on the ground, but that's not it, right? And I was like, well, shoot. And so I had him go look in the window. Basically, somebody had reversed a truck up to we did sliding glass doors along the whole back of the house and taken every single appliance, every single thing of value out of this entire property, like as we're under contract, a couple days away from closing on this like horrible property. And so I think a lot of times people would not share that information because it doesn't make you look great and it's a not great situation. But I've always shared the good, the bad, and the ugly because like we just talked about, HGTV, those kind of things, they show the good. But there's so much craziness that happens in real estate, which is what keeps it exciting, in my opinion. So I've always just tried to kind of be super transparent about it, super real. And that I think built confidence and built trust through it, which makes it easier to show up and continue doing it. But it's still challenging. I have a big one coming up in September and I'm freaking nervous about it, but you get up there and kind of do it.
Panel or presentation, or like what are you doing at these speaking gigs? Do you have a PowerPoint? Because Matt's about to do a huge one in Boston too with Ryan Serhant.
Oh, fun. Yeah, I've done all kinds of stuff. I love a panel. And I honestly think, in my personal opinion, the most value that can be brought as far as social media for real estate is to get a couple of experts up on a stage and have it like panel style, fireside chat, question answer kind of thing. I think that's the best way to do it. But most situations, it's more keynote and I have like a presentation and go through some stuff.
Yeah, panel's the way to go. You could also discover who the hacks on the panel are. That's always great. If you're at like a Tom Ferry conference and you see someone up there who's just literally just blowing shit out of their ass.
Yeah,
disgusting way to put it.
Yeah,
I mean just bullshitting.
Yeah,
not blowing shit out of their ass. Sorry. Jesus Christ.
True.
Yeah,
well, the other thing, everyone's at such different points with their knowledge of social that for me to go up there, and I can talk very basic level, I can talk super high level, but regardless, no matter what, there's going to be a handful of people in the audience that like have never made an Instagram account or like that don't know what's going on, even if I was saying the most simple stuff. So panel's so good because it's a lot more, it hits on everybody and it kind of applies to more people.
They try to get people on these panels too. Like sometimes maybe they just don't know have enough people attending, or they haven't done their research on the guests. But I remember a panel at like the Tom Ferry Summit a couple years ago. There's a guy up there who had 10,000 followers. It was getting like 10 likes, 15 likes on each photo. It was clearly that he bought the followers. And it was so clear just the way he was talking about the information that he had no idea what he was saying. So I think panel definitely is the way to go, though. I feel way more comfortable.
Yeah, mine's a keynote in October. But the way I always like to approach it for myself is like never coming from the point of an expert. I like to let my work speak for itself and say like, this is what I've experienced and this is how I've grown. There's obviously multiple ways to do it, But this is, and I just try and bring it from, my point of view and just have fun with it, tell my story. And that's kind of where I come from. I find like when people really come from the point of like being an expert, it's just a little like almost comes across not genuine and not relatable for me, the ones I've seen.
True. Well, and it's also like you kind of alluded to just now, there's a million ways to do it. What's worked for me and has worked for many of the agents I've coached and worked with, like that's one way to do it. That's not the way to do it. That's not the only way to do it, so to say. So like, it's all about finding kind of what works and going all in on that. There are some principles that apply across the board. That's what I try to hit on too, is like, the basics of that kind of stuff that's important. The consistency, having a strategy, being intentional with it, that applies universally. But the actual approach can change completely based on person, based on your market, based on all that kind of stuff. I mean, if somebody who is like super suited up and traditional tried to go on and start doing like funny skits and they don't have a funny bone in their body, it wouldn't land in the same way that some stuff that you do would resonate with people, because it's like somebody trying to put on the wrong hat and show up to the show. So I totally agree.
Yeah. And it's very easy to see through these days. I think people can video is great because, it breaks down that wall and people feel like they know you. And that's what I always say. It's so much easier to call someone that
Mm-hmm.
but it also breaks down that wall in a way. If you're doing something that's not genuine to you, people are going to see right through it. So you gotta like figure out what works for you and do that, because I think video marketing for real estate is like the future. If you're not doing video, you're probably just old and working on referrals, to be honest. Like, that's my opinion.
Yeah, it's true. But so many people are so scared to get on their video.
I know. And they're scared to cold call and door knock, and they're scared to do everything. We've got to figure something out. You got to find your lane, pick a couple pillars. That's what I say. Yes, Eric.
Should I try that again?
We'll include you in. I'll tag you in here. Go for it.
Okay, thank you. You said earlier in the podcast that your older content isn't performing nearly as well. Like, what type of posts specifically? And Instagram's obviously changing nonstop. So what type of posts are performing well for you right now?
The kind of posts that do the best for me is when I do something. Here's actually something very interesting I just noticed the other day, because I'm doing all this different kind of ad build out and stuff. So I was looking at some of the insights and analytics, and I was paying attention to the fact that my top posts are all the ones where in the caption I started it by saying mini training, and then I did this whole long thing, when in reality almost every single post of mine is like a full blog post of like information and all kinds of stuff. But it was the ones where I said mini training initially in bold that were all like highly saved, shared, and had the best results. And so that got me thinking that psychologically, it's kind of like when I see mini training, that's alluding to the fact that I want to save that. That's going to train me on something. I want to go back to that. If I just dive right into the topic, they may not be in the right place, position, mindset to read through that. So I think that having certain, like, if you pay attention to actual, like kind of the psychological effective stuff, sometimes you can get people to come back to it. So that could apply for anybody with their content of like, hey, you're going to want to read this story and then go into your testimonial or your case study. That would probably increase the likelihood of someone saving that and wanting to actually sit down and go through it. It's kind of interesting. I was working with this guy actually who he does neuromarketing. He was a brain like surgeon or something like that, and then got into marketing, which is the weirdest change of events. But he started really talking about how impactful it is to pay attention to like these little brain cues and ways that we can affect people in that way. And it got me thinking. So that's definitely a big one. And then of course, I mean, like you guys were just saying, video does so well. I've taken even the same content as a written post and then like redid it as a video, whether IGTV or, breaking it down into smaller stuff, and it delivers like crazy on video.
Yeah. Even test video on testimonial, like instead of just having that text out, you could like do a two-way slide where you have the text, but then you also have a video of like just a nice looking background of you reading the testimonial or your client reading the testimonial, just that extra step that just sets you apart.
Mm-hmm.
Getting people to save a post, like for the algorithm, I think is better than commenting and liking, right? Saves and shares are even better. So that's a genius approach to have a super long caption, knowing that they'll have to save it to come back to it. And long captions is also an extremely effective strategy because it keeps them on the post longer. And then Instagram recognizes that action as like, okay, they're staying on this post. So they're going to put more of that type of content in their feed.
Yeah.
So,
And the one other way that I've done too is using a carousel to almost tell an entire story. So like, this is a total personal example, but I went up to Oregon like a month or two ago. And in my post of that, I had something all about, you know, like a lesson I learned or something like that. But I used all 10 pieces of that carousel, and it was like a snip from different pieces of the day. I had a couple of videos in there. I had like a cow that we have and like all these like random little things, but people stay and they experience kind of this whole journey. They can read through it or they can visually experience that. And that's a really cool way to kind of like summarize something. As an agent, that could be the end of your week, and it could be like, this is what it looks like in a hectic week as a, you know, real estate agent and mom of like 80 little children. And you could have all these kind of funny and quirky and interesting pieces to it. And now the more that they're swiping through those different pieces, they're also staying on that post longer, getting your engagement better. So telling a whole story in that post does a lot too.
That's true. I never thought about staying on the post longer. I talk really fast in my videos because I try and fit them in 30-second to 1-minute reels. So I find a lot of people watch the video like 3 or 4 times because they just don't understand what I'm saying. So maybe I'm a genius and I didn't even know it. I tell that to my wife every day. She says, I promise you, you're not. I was going to say something good too. But anyways, testimonial. You said testimonial again. All I can think of is testimonial. So, do you vlog?
No, I do not really. I do try to like go through different series of IGTV. I know that like having a consistent series is really impactful. So for a while, I used to always do like, I can't remember I think it was Tuesdays, but every Tuesday trainings, I would do like a long IGTV, usually literally like 15, 20 minutes sometimes of like with my whiteboard going through a training, that kind of thing. But I've never done like actual vlog stuff.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
It would set up your show really well, I think.
I know, it's true.
Do you do any sort of community engagement on Instagram too, or are you kind of focusing just on yours? Like, are you focusing on responding to people or commenting on other accounts to grow, or is it more just on your specific content?
Yeah, I definitely take some time to engage with them. I mean, I wish I had more time to do that, to be honest, but there's one thing I'll outsource and delegate just about everything in my business before I do my Instagram. Like, I really prioritize keeping that so you're actually talking with me when you're messaging or responding to something. But I do try to set aside some time to connect with things. I follow quite a few hashtags that are like relevant to myself and my business. And those are also oftentimes the hashtags I'm using on stuff. So I'll interact and engage with people as I see them come up in the feed on those hashtags. And I feel like that typically helps. We usually will start some conversation off of that, which has been good.
Smart.
Everything's smart. I mean, it's like, well, I'm just listening to you talk. It's like the fact that people go to these other people, like these other gurus. I'm doing air quotes for those who listen to our millions of listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. People who don't go to you for their marketing and branding, it seems just dumb at this point. You've said more on this episode than people's entire course. You just did it for free, just from your head.
We could put a paywall behind this.
There you go.
We're gonna link you up. We need to get. So I almost feel bad. And I was talking to Eric last week. I was like, when do we just call out these idiots who are stealing people's money? Because that's what they're doing. They're stealing people's money. And then you have someone like you who's really like doing the damn thing. And it's like, if we could just steer people to someone like you who's actually giving valuable information and helping people in their business, the entire industry would be better.
Yeah, you know, it really is so sad because so I have the marketing side. I've helped with agents with that for a long time. And then about a year ago now, actually, it was a relationship started off of Clubhouse with another speaker in the industry. His name's John Marone. We started like a little coaching program. And so we coached with some agents and it's been amazing. But unfortunately, so many of them come to us from having previously bought coaching or course or all this kind of stuff, and they have such a bad taste in their mouth. And I hear it all the time. I'm sure you guys have as well. People who get into these programs, and it's just like so awful. And it's so sad because I don't like to be the person that like talks poorly about others. I think that it always comes to light. But like you just said, it's almost like our duty to bring some of this to light, because it's so bad, the information and things that are being pumped out there in $1,000 course or in these like crazy programs, and then people feel super misguided, and it's an issue.
I had someone call me last month and she was asking me about the Sirhan courses, because I've done a couple of those, which I like. Sirhan's friend of the show. Say that every episode. And she was like, yeah, I just want to like make sure it's good, because I just spent $10,000 on some course, and they said I was going to get all these things and these templates and my own coach. And they just they text me every now and then. I can't get my money back. And she was like, wasn't extremely successful as an agent. $10,000 is a huge investment. $10,000 is a lot of money. Just always, it's always a lot of money, So like, it was sad to hear that like she spent $10,000 on just something that was bullshit. So, yeah.
Well, it is such an industry now, as Tessa was saying, of people like preying on agents that just have marketing expertise in an industry that isn't necessarily real estate. And, Tessa and like us coming from a real estate perspective, and just is so much more genuine because you actually have walked the walk. So, yeah.
And I think sorry, you're still going, Eric.
No, not really. I was just going to say super legit.
Okay, good. Good thing I cut you off.
Thank God.
No, I think we all kind of have the same view on things from that kind of standpoint. Like, we don't do a lot of selling in terms of like what we're trying to promote. We just try and add a lot of value, and then every now and then, kind of like the Gary Vee jab, right hook, but we probably like jab 20 times and then do a right hook. But I think people do appreciate that.
We're like Tyrone Woodley in the Jake Paul fight, just not finishing it off, just constantly just jabbing our way through.
So the Barstool, that stole the show for me.
That was great.
It was so good. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Both. Yeah. Awesome. So we have Eric, we were talking about doing a rapid fire. We didn't actually think of rapid fire questions. Yeah. You're going to be our first rapid fire guest, though. We're going to think of them off the top of our head.
Okay.
Because we're just like that. Okay. Are you ready? You still have some time?
Yes. Let's do it.
All right. These are hard questions. All right. Kendall or Kylie Jenner?
Kylie.
You shouldn't have said that to Matt.
No, I'm more of a Kendall. Eric, are we going one
Kendall's
for one?
Knight in shining armor. Sure.
Yes.
Tom Ferry or Ricky Carruth?
Ferry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
She's not insane. Ryan Serhant or Josh Flagg?
Serhant.
Okay.
Nice, friend of the show. Good.
Golf in Arizona or golf in Oregon with Bandon Dunes and everything?
Oh, I haven't played Bandon Dunes, so that might change when I do, but Arizona.
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Gosling?
Reynolds.
Nice. Van City.
This
isn't very rapid.
How to lose a guy in 10 days or forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Oh, how to lose a guy in 10 days.
Okay. Yeah, we thought about doing a video, how to lose a listing in 10 days.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Milo Ventimiglia, do you know him? This Is Us, mustache guy.
No idea.
Okay, well then this isn't very rapid. This isn't very rapid. Okay, LA or New York?
LA.
Instagram Reels or TikTok?
To watch, TikTok, to do Reels.
Okay. This is the last one. You ready? Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Well, there you have it.
Okay.
Tessabella completed the first not very rapid fire.
We'll write those down next time.
I can't believe you want Kylie over Kendall. Oh my God.
Well, Kylie's more of a business.
That's
like
true.
I like more of what she's done. And here's actually good, like to tie it back into social. I think Kylie's done a way better job of letting the world learn her personality. Kendall's beautiful and she does this whole like modeling thing, but she never like shows up anywhere showing off her personality. So she seems to come across like kind of just like a boring.
Yeah, Kylie's more in the scene. I agree. She's more active on social media. I see her posting way
she
more. I
does,
know
like,
about
funny
Kylie
videos.
Cosmetics.
Yeah, but I mean,
Good point.
Kendall's, she grew up in the spotlight. Maybe doesn't want it all the time.
So did Kylie.
I have to protect.
Sisters.
I have to
They
protect
both grew up on the same show.
Kendall. Kendall's a great name too. I love the Jenners. I think the Jenners and the Kardashians are a great family.
Yeah.
I really do. I think they're
friends
very,
of the show. We like
friends of the show. Very loving and just nice. And I think they get a lot of heat that they shouldn't.
Anyone in the real estate industry you hate?
That you would just say?
Yeah. You don't have to say a name necessarily, but
I mean, are there people? Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
Particularly some of the people who are with EXP that try to like come at you for not joining EXP.
Right. Have you gotten a lot of people doing that? Noticing that you have a big following, big real estate agent platform. I'm sure you get DMs and messages all the time about that.
And I don't see anything bad about it. EXP is honestly great. I love a lot of people there. There's a lot of good stuff about it. I don't think it's a fit for every agent. That's why there's other brokerages, just like Keller Williams isn't a fit for everyone or whatever. But I hate the approach of the very like MLM, like, oh, join this, do this. And then what I was alluding to is like, there's some people who literally try to then tell you you're stupid and like dumb for not doing it. I'm like, what kind of approach is that? I definitely don't, just because of the way that you like came at me for that. So
I agree. There's a lot of great agents there, but
you know what brokerage Matt works with? I'm
assuming the agency, because I see it on your hat.
Yes.
Yep.
And I did also see it in your Instagram bio.
Yes. Very proud. Very proud. It's the best brokerage I've ever been with.
Love it.
I think it is a fit for everybody. Mauricio Umansky is a thing of beauty.
They have a no asshole policy, Matt. So it's definitely not a
that's
fit
why
for
Eric's
everybody.
not here. Yeah,
exactly.
That's why Eric's. But Tessabella, if you ever want to join, just let me know.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. No asshole rule, Eric. Sorry.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for doing the rapid fire. Thank you. That was a terrible rapid fire, but we appreciate you going along with it.
Thank you
for just spitting that knowledge. I mean, really, I think our listeners are going to we haven't had this kind of knowledge since Jason Pantana.
Yeah, we're going to have so many clips. Like we're trying to do these IGTV clips we post over us. There's going to be like 15 of them that I'm going to have to sort through because of all the knowledge that you dropped. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. It was great. I think that we should really get our show going of bar rescue for real estate. I think would be amazing. So
we could do it. It could be done. We should have a meeting.
Yep.
Want to make a live podcast meeting?
Nope.
Wouldn't that be funny? We just kept going.
Just keep going.
Eric, would you like to ask your last question?
Yes. Where can the people follow you? Do you have anything to promote? I know you have Snap, Lead Flow Agency, Real Estate Mastery, your own personal Instagram. So tell the people where to go. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, best place to connect with me is always my personal Instagram, because that is my TV show for the time being. So connect there and we can, share everything else. But I do have like a little free real estate challenge coming up that is starting at the end of this month on the 21st. And we talk about 4 S's. So structure, sales, social media, and self-mastery, which I think are the most important pieces of actually building a sustainable business that you can scale. So we have a challenge coming up where we're giving like tangible tips on that and showing you exactly how to do it. So I'd love to see some people in there asking questions and learning everything we got.
Nice. Awesome. 4 S's. Your logo should be a snake.
You're just full of ideas.
Yeah, I'm always here to help. So
testimonials, I think, better than that.
Snakes and ladders.
Snakes don't really give off a good marketing feel.
Oh, true. You're a snake in the grass. Yeah.
You're hiding something.
All right. Tessa, another thing you should know about us is we can never end an episode. But we really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Everyone, go follow Tessabella, and y'all take care now.
All right. Thanks.